Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Animal Kingdom, Season 6, Episode 8. Pope, you in trouble. You in big, bad, terrible trouble.
Oh, he's in such trouble. Also, Craig, Ren, guys, man, I was just praising you last episode about what a great job you were doing, Craig. Oh, man, I
No.
feel like I'm eating my words in this one.
This is the train wreck episode for Craig. This is the you're screwed episode for Pope, for Darren, for Jay. This is the episode because I really just couldn't pay attention that much to what was going on with you guys.
Yeah.
Well, we have a lot to get into here. Hit that subscribe button every single week after Animal Kingdom. We are here breaking everything down. We don't want you to miss any of that.
Also, follow us over on Instagram. It's Matt and Jess TV. We have lots of fun pictures over there, and we would really appreciate that.
All right, can we let's just start with Pope getting just completely and totally screwed here with something he could not have possibly predicted.
They really did a good job with this, where he's looking at the tapes. He doesn't see Detective Thompson in there.
No.
He searches the house for bugs. There's nothing in there. Again, I was kind of like, what was her purpose then of really getting into this house? Like, she got into the house, we watched her rummage around, she didn't really figure anything out, and then she just left. Like, it feels like a lot of danger and possibly getting found out to end up with nothing, not even gonna plant a bug in this house. But watching him look at the tapes where it's like, the cereal box is one way, the cereal box is another way, the gate is open, the gate is closed, I'm like, okay, cool. So he's been able to figure some stuff out. He then goes, talks to Taylor, is like, what is going on here? You were the only person that was in this house. Like, what is happening? And Taylor spills his guts.
Taylor, I understand. If Pope was doing what he was to you to me, I would also be spilling my guts. This was a very terrifying scene for Taylor, who is just, we kind of understand more why he's been doing what he is. You know, he's just a guy who's trying to avoid getting in more legal trouble, and Thompson has all the leverage in the world on him. I don't know what that's going to look like after all this, though.
Yeah, and I really like how Pope figured out a way to find out where she was without just tailing her, because when we finally did get this confrontation between them where she's like, you went through an awful lot, wrecking my car, getting
Yeah.
the tow truck, like, to figure out where I am. Like, why didn't you just tail me? And he was like, why would I just tail you? Like, obviously you're on the lookout for me. I can't just tail you or have someone tail you. You're clearly doing a good enough job that you found a way into my home
Yeah.
to go through my stuff. Like, I gotta be better than that. And I was. So here I am. You're out of the shower. Let's have a talk.
Yeah, and this conversation was both awkward and terrifying because it's like, okay, here's what Pope is now up against. Detective Thompson has already informed other people as to what she's up against, so Pope just can't, kill her, and this entire thing, that's not going to happen. It's not going to disappear. And we know that she knows a lot about Catherine Bellin. This is something that Pope did on behalf of Smurf. He doesn't have any sort of easy way out because he did what he did. He's not being falsely accused. There's no escape route from all of this. She's already like 100 steps ahead of him.
Yeah, that conversation at the end when Pope went back to the house
Yeah.
and was like, Darren, Jay, I'm in huge trouble. Here's what's happening. There's a cop and she's really on to me. And by the way, I also killed Catherine because Smurf told me to. Like, it was just a huge dump of information that the two guys were just like, oh
Yeah.
my God. So we're probably going to get another sort of big heist this season, but this could be it. And it not as a heist, but like,
Yeah.
how are the guys going to come together to go up against a detective who the whole department knows what she's doing? All her
Yeah.
information is back there, or at least the stuff that's on the books is back there. So if she goes missing, I mean, it's going to be a huge problem for the Cody family. You can't have her looking into the Codys and then the Codys disappear her. There has to be a way bigger, more elaborate plan to get a handle on this. And that could be really fun.
It could be really fun. I will start this by saying, and once again, big surprise, everybody. I am not a master criminal. I do not think this way. So unfortunately, these are the ideas that I have from the outside looking in as to how to deal with this. Number one, you try to find a way to make Detective Thompson look corrupt or like she's got some sort of personal vendetta.
He is corrupt.
Well, corrupt in an even worse way, where they can sort of say she is out to get us, she is making something happen that's not really here, and that goes into number two. You gotta make sure you can frame this on somebody else. You have to throw Catherine's death on someone who's making it seem like Pope is guilty, even though he's not, even though we know he kind of is.
They need to really start building their connections, and more connections that are actually in the police force is really what they need to do. Darren brought this up when Tommy came to him with a job and was like, oh, listen, there's this dentist's office. He's got some coins in. I know I've never been on any jobs with you, but I'm bringing you this job because I want to learn and I want to be able to be part of some of this. And Jay was kind of like, oh, so we're just letting everybody in now kind of thing, which has been the theme of this season. I mean, Vince, come on. But Darren brought up a really important point where he was like, listen, Smurf had a network. She had other people helping her, and her network was pretty vast. We don't have that. And if we're going to continue doing this, we need other people. It can't just be us. So we're going to cast the net out. And that's kind of what I think they're going to have to do. Like, if they really want to sort of squash this with Thompson, they need to get someone above her in the police department to be able to squash it. I just don't know how else they get out of this.
Yeah, and from what I know about the world of Animal Kingdom, there's going to be like some greedy like sergeant or captain out there who could use a little bit of something in their pockets, and they just have to find that person and really like give them a reason to want to make this go away.
I mean, Pope is very clever. He really is. He's very methodical. He's very clever. He's always been able to find ways to kind of get around most things. Yes, he's been caught. Yes, he's gone to jail, but he has been able to figure out a lot of stuff. This character is just... This character is such a good character, and all of the different ages that we've seen him at, with teenage Pope, with young Pope last season. We're covering American Horror Stories here at the channel. They just had the premiere with the same actor, Houston Tao, who played young Pope last season. He's over there and he's excellent. So if you're looking for something else to watch, it has a nice Animal Kingdom sort of connection. Check that out.
Let's talk a little bit about Craig here, because
Craig, dude,
and Ren,
man,
I'm not gonna directly reference it, but there's another show that we are covering that features two characters who kind of come to this revelation that when they are together, a lot of really bad things happen, and that may not be a good, and like separate from Ren, Craig was really kind of doing a little bit better. And, we weren't seeing a ton of Ren when she was separate from Craig. But the moment that these two are like back together, it starts from like, I don't know, some weird machismo showdowns that Craig has going on here for money. And it goes into, drugs. It goes into violence. It goes into crime. It goes into all sorts of horribleness.
Yeah, here's the thing is, we started this season out where Craig is sober and he really wants to make a difference because he wants to be there for his son and he wants to be cleaned up because he was such a mess last season. Everything that happened to Ren, it seemed like before that, Ren was actually doing okay as well. Like she was, I don't know if she was completely cleaned up, but she was doing very well. And after everything that happened and having Nick taken, she was not looking like she was doing that well. She was very nervous. She was shutting all the curtains. She's still using drugs, or at least she has started again, is sort of how I'm taking it, because she didn't feel like she was before, and maybe I'm wrong about that, but she was definitely using in a way bigger way in this episode. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with Craig when he saw that, if he was going to be like, no, I'm sober. We just watched this go through with Nick. I'm going to sober you out, is kind of where I thought it was going to go. But nope. He was like, give me some. We're on this train together and it's rolling
Yeah.
off the tracks. Let's do this. I was like, oh,
Craig,
crap.
you need to not get on this train anymore. Like, this, it's clear. Ren is just a terrible. Ren's more than capable of getting clean on her own and all of that. I understand all that, and I understand they've gotten with a lot of trauma. But clearly, Ren is such a powerful influence on Craig that he is going to give in to temptations around her in a way that he is not going to with some other people. So he's either just got to get really far away from this before getting back, or just realize that this relationship with Ren, it's not working. It is bad.
Listen, that last scene last week with Nick being taken and seeing him in that situation, all these gunshots firing, was not as sad as the scene this week of Craig sort of waking up out of a drug haze. His son is in soiled diapers. His diaper bag is gone. His woman is out looking to score. He's having to use paper towels to clean up his son who's crying. I was just like, this is so sad.
And I don't know if there's going to be a good ending for Craig at the end of all of this. There's not a lot of time left in this season. And this is where I look at all the Cody boys right now and I'm like, super worried, because Pope could easily go to prison at the end of this show. Craig could either have something happen to him with the law or with drugs or whatever else. He's in a really terrible situation. I mean, Jay, it's possible that Jay gets out other than just the fact that Penny's husband just comes and beats him up for just being just like a total weirdo.
Yeah, it looks like Penny's husband is coming back on, a more permanent basis. So that relationship's kind of out. We saw Jay digging into him to be like, give me some dirt on him. And he's like, there's nothing. He's just kind of a regular dude. Like, there's nothing going on. Like, if you're looking for something, you're just, all the best to you. You're not really going to find anything. And that's how I have felt about that whole Jay storyline with Penny anyways all season. He's got a lot more interesting stuff going on. And I'm hoping that with what Pope has brought them now, Darren and Jay, to be like, listen, this is happening, that Penny story is kind of just going to get put to the side a little bit, because this is a meaty story.
It's a much meatier story. Like, I would be fine if just like Penny and her husband just go off somewhere, because it seems like the only other possible ending to all of this is that, Penny sets Jay up, or the husband comes and does something really bad to Jay. I mean, he should sit some sort of consequences, because he's being super reckless, all for the state of this woman who he barely knows, who just other than some chemistry, there's nothing about her that makes her feel different than anyone else we've seen.
We're not going to get out of this season without one of the Cody boys dying. I feel very confident that that's how things are going to play out. Right now, where we are in the series, it's Craig. That's what it feels like. He's just being too reckless, really reckless, and he's just going to end up dead.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Craig. I think Darren is the most likely in my mind to be sort of the last Pope standing. And by that, I mean, not necessarily the last one alive, but, I can easily see Pope going to prison. I could see something bad happening to Jay, and Darren just sort of being left there to take care of Nick, to try to figure out what is going to be left for this family.
My hope is actually that Pope will be the last man standing, and that he will end up taking care of Nick, because as crazy as he can be with a lot of stuff, he does really care, and he does really care about his family. And I think as far as someone who's gonna put their real time and care into Nick, and to make sure that he's going to school, and a bit of Pope's OCD coming out, I think Pope actually will be the person who will be able to make sure that Nick is okay, because Darren is really a flip-flopper. He's kind of like, sometimes he cares, sometimes he doesn't. He just wants to run his bar, do some jobs, and that's about it. Heart's just not in it. Jay is just all over the place. Craig is just being awful. It's all just falling apart. Pope is got to be the last one standing.
You want to see my impression of Pope in the flashbacks when he found out about Bass and Julia?
All right.
This is him just running away. I want a gif of.
And if I walked in on my sister
Yeah, I
and something's
understand.
happening, I'm going to get out of that situation as fast as possible, too. You know what? Goodbye.
I want a gif of Pope running away from that scene that's bad. I'm going to use it for other things because it was really funny.
It was very funny.
He was if there was a brick wall, he would have burst through there like the Kool-Aid man and just kept going until he was out on the street.
He's great. I don't know who this actor is who's playing Teenage Pope, but he is fantastic.
Yeah, like honestly, I mean, we already know a lot of the stuff that's happening with Julia and Baz. Like, I'm not that invested in that stuff in the flashbacks. So my biggest flashback takeaway is just how funny it was seeing young Pope run away.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Smurf doing what Smurf has been doing all season, which is really trying to tear down any happiness that Julia could possibly have, trying to make what she's doing feel weird or awkward, continuing to call Baz her brother. That's not her brother. I mean, she's trying to be very clear about that. But, Smurf is trying to make it weird. Then she's trying to, put her down again to be like, he's just using you. He's just a teenage boy. He doesn't actually care about you. Like, just kind of get over yourself and tear down her self-esteem.
It is rough. All this stuff is rough, but we will see exactly how much more Julia we get. Like, they have to have some sort of defined ending for those flashbacks. But, right now, I'm all on board with Pope. It's just really, really hard not to.
Absolutely.
Well, go ahead, guys, and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our other Animal Kingdom coverage every single week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you here next time.